We are less than, hold on, I didn't even count. Hey Siri, how many days until March 21st? 17 days. We're less than 20 days out from moving, closing on my first house. Let's go! All right, so I want to quickly I want to talk about what this home buying process has been like for me. I wasn't necessarily planning to buy my home this soon. So I knew that I wanted to buy after this lease was up. So I signed a 15-month lease. So this lease would have been done originally in October of 2025. So I knew I wanted to buy by the end of this year, but like I wasn't heavy in the market for it. And I can't really remember what spiked me to start looking so soon. I think me and my friends were just talking about it. And I know I was sick of renting for sure. I don't know if you have your best friends that I'll just send Zillow or Redfin links back and forth to, but I have friends like that. So I decided to check out, like go visit some homes. Just the idea was, like let me see what I like, what I don't like. Because I didn't know really. Like I know like a lot of the houses that I would ideally like to live in were definitely out of my price range. Multi-million dollar homes, the cool ones that you always want to check out when you go on vacation or somewhere. You're like, ooh, I wonder how much that one costs. So I hadn't really looked at homes that were realistic for me. I hopped on Redfin and I started just kind of checking out um just different homes in my area. Yeah, I hopped on there, started looking at homes, going on tours, just getting an idea for what makes sense and just kind of understand, starting to learn what my likes and dislikes were. And then I started to find things that I really liked. And it was starting to get real to me where I was like, maybe I do want to buy. If I find the right thing, maybe I will, but I'm not in a rush. What happened was a lot of the homes that I liked were going under contract. So the homes would be there for the longest time, like sitting on the market for months. I would go take a look at it, tour it, and then in a few days it was under contract. And I'm like, what the crap, dude? So I just started giving up at that point. I was like, well, I'm not in any rush. I'm just gonna chill. And so I kept, of course, looking, and then I'm seeing like a lot of new builds and things like that. So I went to go check out one. I liked it. It was cool. So the realtor came out to meet me so I could check it out. I was like, okay, well maybe let's just see what the numbers are. Let's just see what happens. Because what the thing with new builds a lot of the time, like the seller, the builder will provide credits or like take care of your closing and things like that. And so got like a quick estimate, and like the price was outrageous, like what they wanted me to put down. And I was just like, man, screw that. So I was really discouraged. Like I was like, man, whatever. I initially wasn't attached, and then I got attached. The realtor called me back and was like, listen, let's talk to the seller. Let's look at another lender and see what we can do. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I kind of moved on. I was in my feelings. Like, I'm not buying a house right now. Like, I'm gonna be renting forever. Like, I was definitely, I was definitely in my feels at that point. The next day, he hit me up with a different lender. They were able to like get the interest rate down, get the payment around like what I was comfortable with. From then, it was all good because I was able to like they did like a lot of really cool stuff for me. The seller did, as far as like throwing in some appliances, working with me on Earnest, because I have never done any of this before. There's an upside and a downside for going with the preferred lender, and we'll talk about that too. I ended up picking area over home. So I'm looking for my dog. So once I settled on like one that I was actually interested in, I was like, well, let's try the pre-approval part. I went through the pre-approval process, just sent in like bank statements and things like that. And they didn't run my credit or anything like that. They just, kind of see what I was approved for. And so they were like, yeah, you're pre-approved for this. They were able to get my interest rate down, which was good. So I was like, okay, God, like I was praying about it the whole time because I'm like, God, if you want this to happen, you're gonna have to make this happen because I can't do it on my own anyway. So he did. So I remember I was supposed to meet the realtor over at the house to, I guess, check it out again, just like take another look at it and see if this is what I wanted to do. And initially, the seller told me like a certain amount was the earnest money, and it was an amount that I wasn't able, like I didn't have on me at the time. I couldn't just come up with, and so I was like, well, maybe this ain't it because I don't have that kind of cash on me right now. So I was walking my dog before I was headed back over to meet the realtor, and I was kind of like, well, all right, God, if this is something you want to happen, I'm gonna need you to work out the details, And I just kind of gave it to him and left it at that, because there was no time left for me to be like discouraged and things like that, right? So I pull up to the to the property, and the realtor's there, and he's like, hey. Guess what? The seller's willing to do this, this, and this regarding the earnest money, which basically cut it in half, and they were willing to like make some other arrangements for me. I was like, all right, well, let's do it. Like, rock it. So I put in my earnest money, and then I was officially under contract. And I was like, holy crap, I'm officially under contract. This was not, I totally wasn't expecting to be under contract on a house like now. Whoa. So, yeah, I need water. I was not expecting to be under contract on a house right now. And so here we go. Now it's crunch time as far as I always hear them say, like, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. And so gather all your documents. The lender's like, hey, this is what I need you to send in. So I got all the things, sent it in, and then that was it. And I was just like, okay, here's where the story gets a little annoying. So my sister works in real estate. She was like, your lender can make or break your deal. I thought everything was fine because my lender got, they seemed to be on top of it initially. But then the communication fell off, and that's when I got pissed, because I'm like, dude, it was kind of frustrating too, because I didn't know what I was supposed to know, or I didn't know what I didn't know also, right? Like, first time buying a home. And so I'm asking questions of my agent and like my sister and just other people who are in my life. And the one common denominator was that my lender should be in more contact with me, more communication. And the guy just kind of like sending me one word text. Even to this point, I'm not really thrilled with the communication. And then, the other thing they just tell you is like, don't spend anything. So I'm like, I don't know what kind of money I can't spend. And I'm trying to come up with the down payment. I'm also trying to see like what programs I can qualify for. I'll go into maybe a deeper dive into like what this loan process was, because it'll stress me out to even dig into that right now. But just very unprofessional, not at all what I expected. And so like my agent was trying to answer as many questions as he could, but he's like, "Oh, that's really a question for the lender. That's really a question for the lender." I guess the other thing to consider is that I didn't take into account how challenging it would be to buy a home on my own. I had to make all these decisions on my own, like just me. And having like a bit of uncertainty when it comes to like, am I making the right decision? I don't think people think about that. I stopped praying for a bit there and definitely lost my peace too. And that was a problem. I had to remember, like, I got to check back in with God. And then people were like, aren't you excited? I mean, yeah, but no, this could be all not a unique experience to me. And I was about to back out a couple times. When I say I was using Chat GPT and doing my research to figure out what kind of questions I should ask and what to expect and things like that, especially trying to read that loan worksheet, not easy at all. They always say like real estate is a lot of that hurry up and wait when you're trying to buy a home. And they also say it's one of the most stressful things you'll do in your life. And I see why. And all in all, it's been a peaceful process. Like, I have been at peace about making this purchase, but it has been stressful because I didn't have a down payment saved. It had me also questioning, like, can I afford to do this? Like, can I really do this? We're in the home stretch now. I'm just waiting to hear final cash to close, the clear to close, and all these things, so I can just, start that process. I'm gonna try and film my closing process and talk about it, and then I do the YouTube thing and do the empty house tour. But yeah, like, it has been stressful trying to buy a home by yourself in this economy. It's been really eye-opening for me. I think it's been humbling and eye-opening, but also very like gratifying, because I'm realizing how far I've come and how blessed I am and how fortunate I am that I can do this. You know what I'm saying? Let's walk over here. Let me talk to you. Years ago, I definitely could not afford to buy a home. Like, I was getting denied for apartments, getting laid off 2 years ago. I mean, just all the different things, going through a horrible breakup. Like, you wouldn't believe just the crazy things that life like, just life stuff, right? And then now here I am able to purchase my first home by myself. Like, no, God is, I mean, he's showing out for sure. And so even though it has been stressful, like I said, I've been really at peace this whole time about the decision to do it. And he's really opened all the doors. He really has. And I think he's kept me from a lot of the stress. But if I could go back and do it again, I would probably be more organized and be more intentional leading up to this process, like saving money. Those are things that if I had to go back and do it again, that's what I would do. So yeah, that's a little bit into my home buying process. Like I said, I'll talk more about it as we get closer to closing because we're still not done. So I'm gonna wrap up this conversation about the home buying process because there's really not else to like blab about. It's been a learning experience, and I think for my like the next time I have to go through this, I pray that I'm going through it with a husband. But I've learned, which is good. I've learned, so I feel like I'll know what to expect and know how to advocate for myself next time and things like that. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, put a little house emoji in the comments. Let me know, have you bought a home? Is my experience unique? Or what, dude? Because my God. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.